You are listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with Steve Worsley, the toxic mold expert and your number one source for mold consulting and mitigation in the USA. Let's dive into a brand new episode.
Before we get started on this episode, here's a not-so-short disclaimer. While all attempts have been made to verify the content provided in this podcast, neither the podcaster nor the producers assume any responsibility for errors, omissions, or alternative interpretations of the issues discussed here. All information stated in this podcast is the opinion of Steve Worsley. Steve Worsley is a mold specialist with over 25 years of experience in the construction and mold industry. The Toxic Mold Podcast is for information sharing purposes only. The views expressed are those of the podcaster and his alone. These views should not be taken as expert instruction or commands. While there may be references to medical conditions and symptoms, all podcast episodes are the opinion of Steve Worsley, and any medical questions or concerns shall be addressed with the appropriate licensed medical professional or professionals. As the podcaster refers to different mold types, please be aware that Steve Worsley is not a microbiologist, and questions concerning mold specifics should be answered by the appropriate professional. Steve isn't, nor does he offer any legal advice. For any legal advice, you must speak to a lawyer. The listener is 100% responsible for his or her own actions. You can check out Steve's books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for author Steve Worsley. You can also take Steve's mold education courses, such as Mold 101 and the Mycotoxin Prevention Kit, by going to cnccontractorservices.com. Again, check out his mold education courses at cnccontractorservices.com. Now, let's get to the episode.
Hello, you're listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with myself, Steve Worsley, and we have my wife, Cassandra. How goes it?
Going well.
September's here.
Already. This year went by so fast. So far.
There's still 3 more months of it.
Yeah, it's almost over.
Soon enough, though, we'll be complaining that it's too cold.
That it's the tundra, yeah.
Anyhow, today's episode is toxic mold due to window wells. And we might throw in talking about gutters and grading if we need to. But what do you think about when you hear window wells?
The windows that aren't really windows because they're underneath the ground, even though you can still see outside. On the East Coast, we don't have window wells, just so you know, for the most part.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's only when I came out west that I saw window wells. I'm like, why would you ever do that?
So you can have a basement.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like where we're at, it's cooler. You have to have, so to explain to our listeners, like in the office we're in has a window because it's actually a bedroom. Mm-hmm. You have to have a window well because we're below the dirt grade.
Correct. Whereas in the East Coast, most homes, because they're so old, if the basement has a window, that part of where the window is above ground. If that makes sense. So they, yeah.
Growing up, I grew up in a house, I think it was built in the 50s or 60s. Pretty sure it was the 60s. Our windows were like these little tiny, like 1 foot by 2 foot wide. Mm-hmm. Back then, you didn't have egress codes or any of that. So
yeah. So do you want to explain for our listeners what a window well is and sort of the purpose of it, but also what it looks like? Because I think a lot of people who may be like me until they went to a different area didn't know that people did that.
Okay. So from the outside, it kind of looks like a half of a pipe. Mm-hmm. And as I just said earlier, for egress codes, you can't be, I think it's 30 inches. I should know this because I'm a certified home inspector. You can't be any higher for the windowsill height of 30 inches. And it has to be big enough. And once again, that changes. I think it's about 10 square feet is the minimum size of the window. Anyhow, so the windowsill height is well below ground. Where we're sitting, it's like 6 feet below ground.
Wow.
So the window well's in there to create that open space on the exterior. And then there's a ladder so that if there was a fire in the house and we had to get out of this room, we could get out the window.
Correct.
So.
But it's also from the outside, it's also something you could use the ladder to climb into. And we found mice in there. I'm sure snakes could get in there, right?
Oh, all sorts. Yeah,
all sorts of critters could get in there. So you could look out your window and see things you don't want to see.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that was a very good definition, but, from the outside, the purpose of this is so that you can have this window, but the grading and drainage can be to the proper elevation on the exterior
Correct.
of the home.
So really, the window is underneath the ground, but you create this well or this half-looking pipe with stairs up so that you can meet the
Well,
grading.
it's not stairs, it's a ladder.
A ladder. So you can meet the grading and drainage requirements on the outside, but still have a window in the house.
Because if you think about it, if the dirt grade outside was as low as this window,
that would not work.
Yeah, it would be, from our main level, it'd be like 10 feet below the main level. Be odd.
Yeah, it would be very, very odd. So what made you decide to do an episode on window wells?
Well, what I was going to say first, though, is it's interesting. I had no idea back east that they didn't have window wells.
No.
So that's interesting. Anyhow, the reason I wanted to do an episode is we see not a ton of issues, but we see a lot of issues due to the window wells that lead to moisture intrusion, which leads to mold. Looking like at that window that we're looking at right here, think about if water started leaking in. Would we even see it?
No.
No, because all our walls are finished in sheetrock.
Exactly. So it would just be seeping into areas behind the wall that we can't see.
Yeah, it'd be like in this wall cavity.
Wow.
By the time you figured it out, it would be
a massive mold problem.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's why I wanted to talk about it. We haven't talked about it. I'm sure we've done it in previous episodes. We've rarely even talk about window wells.
Well, and things can go wrong with windows, right? Whether they're below ground or above ground. So
exactly.
Are there complications when the window is sort of below ground in a window well?
Well, naturally it would be.
Okay.
So because we're below grade, if this window well was not attached properly. Now, for our listeners, we're in a home that's, 4 or 5 years old?
Yes.
So it's pretty much new. But if it wasn't attached properly, the grading wasn't done properly, just imagine the problems it could cause. And then think about what if this house was 30 years old?
Yeah, that would be a lot.
And, when we do mold remediation, and it includes the basement, it typically is always associated with a window. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
That does make sense. So when you say moisture intrusion could impact the window well and cause mold, can you give me some examples of moisture intrusion events from the outside in or from the inside out that would affect a window well?
So let's just say the grading on the outside is not properly going away from the home. Mm-hmm. And imagine if we had a bunch of water build up out there and it came over the top of the window well. It would come down to the bottom of the window well. And the window well's only, 8 inches below the bottom of the window. Mm-hmm. And if that water rose up high enough, it would come right into this room.
Oh, wow.
So, there's a lot of defects that could start causing problems. Like the window well could be rusting out. Mm-hmm. It might not be attached to the foundation properly or securely.
Wow.
Maybe it needs a cover over it, depending on where it is. If you think about where this window is, where is it? It's right in the corner of where our garage is.
That's true. So if
it's protected a little bit.
Okay, it's protected. I was just thinking if the sprinklers went crazy or a hose with water kept going for a lot of hours, it could impact the window well, right?
Yeah. Well, remember, I think we had been in Saratoga for a couple weeks on a federal job. Remember we heard something?
Oh, yeah, the water was on a little
And I came down here and I could hear something.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out because I was like, oh, boy. And I got my infrared camera. Remember I did?
Yes, I remember.
But what had happened was the hose spigot wasn't closed all the way.
Yeah, and it was leaking for we don't know how long.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, no. So those are the kinds of things that could happen with window wells. But I think I might, we have window wells, obviously, but I'm asking myself, well, what's the prevention? What do you do?
Well, it depends on what the problem is. So let's go through a few scenarios. Let's say the top of that window well was below the dirt grade, meaning the water literally ran to the window well. You could put a window well extension. You could literally get the landscape block and just build it up and make a half circle there.
Okay.
So that you can elevate that so that you can elevate the dirt grade to flow away from the house.
Okay.
I don't believe guess I've never gone out and dug it up. I don't believe our window wells even have drains like they should.
Okay.
That could be another option if, let's say, continuously we kept seeing water building up in that window well. Like the other window down here is your office.
Yes.
So you're not always in there, but let's just say you're in there and you get off call and you come up to me and you're like, hey, there's the water's almost to where the window height is. There are certain things we'd have to do to get rid of that water, which would be a drain.
Okay, so drain. So making sure there's a drain. What about a rusted window well? What do you do there?
You would have to replace it.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to dig up the whole thing and replace it.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I guess to answer your questions, there's tons of problems that could exist with the window well. It could be as simple as throwing a cover over the window well. Mm-hmm. And, speaking of covers, when I did home inspections all the time, and it would usually be on a welder's home, they would weld these big old heavy grates that they'd put over the window well. Mm-hmm. And in their eyes, they're like, yeah, this is great. And then I'd ask them, well, what do you do if your daughter, 12-year-old daughter, 16-year-old daughter tries to get out of her window because there's a fire in the basement? How's she going to get out?
Yeah.
She can't.
Yeah.
And so my point is, for our listeners, you've got to keep that in mind too. From the outside, that would be a huge hazard if we had little kids running around.
That's true.
You talked about birds, and we've had dead mice. I haven't had rabbits in there, but that's the problem with it. The window well itself proves to be problematic, but if you put a heavy-duty cover over it...
that could be worse.
Yeah, and what I was talking about with like the welders, those are grates. So it wasn't for water. But you can buy the cheap. Mm-hmm. You can go down to Lowe's and buy a $15 cheap plastic cover to put over it.
That's true.
Which, that's what you would want to do. If your 16-year-old had to get out, it's this cheap plastic cover. They could easily get out.
Easy to lift.
There are covers that are heavier duty, like a heavy duty one, that have hinges on it like your trunk. Mm-hmm. So you just unlatch it and then it's a hydraulic kind of spring. I'm not sure how to explain it.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Now, when it comes to pests, I noticed that when we found a mouse in one of our window wells, it had almost burrowed into the dirt. You want to avoid that too, don't you? Because then the mouse can kind of make tunnels.
Well, yeah, it was burrowing, I think, trying to get out.
Oh, trying to get out. Okay.
I would suspect what happened with that mouse. It probably fell in there.
Okay.
And then it was trying to figure a way out. And like I said, our window wells are from the bottom sill of the window to the top of the window wells, probably a good 5-6 feet.
Wow.
So it had no way to get out.
No way to get out. Gotcha. Okay. But certainly you want to get any dead animals or things like that.
Yeah, you want to keep them clean.
Yeah. Okay.
Something that I haven't done probably ever, I guess. But yeah, there are things you've got to do to make sure that they're not causing problems. But, like talking about the rusted one, I mean, it's not that hard to look out the window and see what's going on.
How often should people be checking their window wells for any sort of moisture intrusion kind of things? Well,
I think the most problematic time of the year would be in the spring when everything starts defrosting.
Okay. Because of all the moisture.
Yeah, you have the spring runoff. The soils are, depending on where you live, would determine the frost level. But most places, it's only a couple of feet. Well, that's all frozen. In the spring, it starts to thaw out, which is moisture and all of that.
So really, just in time for the spring checklist, people should check.
Yeah, that's something I should add to the spring checklist. I probably don't have that in there.
Yeah. So. It's just trying to time all these checks that people are supposed to do, kind of in the fall checklist, spring checklist.
Well, like I tell everybody all the time, your home is just like your body. When we were 20, we thought nothing could stop us. Mm-hmm. Then you hit your 30s and you start slowing down. And then you hit 40s, and it's no different than a home's no different than your body. It's going to age, and you've got to maintain it.
Absolutely.
And I hate to say this, but we kind of live in a day and age where we expect AI or whoever to make sure everything's how it should be. And that's not how that works on a home.
Absolutely.
You have to do routine inspections. You got to
look at things.
Yeah.
Would a whole house moisture alarm pick up moisture that is in a window well, or no? Only inside the home?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by a whole house water alarm. Oh. There's a whole house water monitoring system.
Yes, that's what I mean.
No, that's attached to our water main.
Okay, so it doesn't.
But what you're talking about is a water alarm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You could literally put the sensor on the window inside.
Oh, okay.
And it plugs right into the wall.
Wow.
So yeah, that's easy.
Would you recommend that for people?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the problem you're going to have, and we talked about it earlier, because for our listeners, we have a framed wall down here. So you have the foundation, the framed wall, and then sheetrock.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely that the water is going to be hitting that alarm.
Okay.
It's going to go behind the wall and cause problems.
So even then, hard to detect is what you're saying.
You could still put a water alarm if you're building the home. So for our listeners, if you're remodeling your basement or finishing your basement, you could put a water alarm in the wall.
Okay.
It's just this little sensor you put in there, and there's a wire that comes out.
Okay.
And then you just plug it in. So that would be a good idea.
Okay.
A great idea. And we've talked about those things. We'll go over a lot more of that stuff in future episodes or when we talk about equipment. And I think we're going to, here in a few weeks, talk about prevention.
Very good. So overall, what's your call to action for people?
Just go out and make sure that your window wells look good.
Okay.
Check them for rusting. Make sure they're not full of debris, stuff like that.
Really good.
So we, of course, as we evolve, so does our marketing. But I started creating those. They're called doodle videos.
Yeah, there's some really educational videos on the YouTube channel that have started coming out and will continue to come out. So make sure that you go look up CNC Contractor Services or Steve Worsley on YouTube.
I think the YouTube channel is the Toxic Mold channel.
Oh, very good. I'm not sure, but
yeah. And like you said, probably every other week I'll upload a video. They're quick, like 3-minute videos.
And so educational.
Yeah. Like I said, they're kind of doodle. It's just something different.
It's really good. So be sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you share it with your friends.
Yeah. And the YouTube channel, some of our listeners, that's where they listen to the podcast.
Oh, that's right.
So they'll see that because we have quite a few subscribers.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate all of you. Have a great week.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're worried about mold or indoor air quality in your home but don't know where to start, CNC Contractor Services has you covered. A virtual property assessment gives you real-time expert guidance on what's going on in your living environment, all from the comfort of your home. Whether you're buying, building, or just want peace of mind, visit cnccontractorservices.com to learn more about scheduling your VPA with Steve today.